The superhero craze is showing no sign of slowing down anytime soon, and it seems like the next few years are filled to the brim with comic book and superhero movies. But what's actually coming out and when? Here's everything you need to know about these upcoming superhero movies. Sylvester Stallone appeared to retire his iconic John Rambo character with 2019's Rambo: Last Blood, but the actor clearly isn't planning on retiring himself anytime soon. He'll go from action hero to superhero in 2021's Samaritan, a film about a child who discovers the secret behind a long-forgotten hero's disappearance. Samaritan is directed by Julius Avery, who earned praise for helming the World War II zombie thriller Overlord in 2018. When he was offered the chance to work with Stallone on his next feature, he jumped at it. Avery told Deadline, "Sly is a hero of mine. I'm incredibly thrilled to be working with such an iconic actor on this very special project with Balboa Productions and MGM." Avery reportedly struck up a great relationship with Stallone on set, who called him a wonderful director when the movie wrapped in November 2020. After a number of unfortunate coronavirus-related delays, Stallone shared in an Instagram post, "Entire crew is tested down to the last person every day for COVID, which amounted to thousands upon thousands of tests, and we came through like champs." Samaritan is now due for release on June 4, 2021. After years of teasing, Marvel finally announced that a standalone Black Widow movie was coming at Comic-Con 2019. By the end of the year, we had our first teaser for the film, a prequel that takes place after the events of Captain America: Civil War. The movie follows Natasha Romanoff as she goes under the radar and returns to Russia, where she reunites with her old friends and family. These new characters include Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, Rachel Weisz as Melina Vostokov, and David Harbour as Alexei Shostakov, aka the Red Guardian. The movie also features a sinister new villain in Taskmaster, as well as the return of William Hurt's Thaddeus Ross. Black Widow has been subject to a whole heap of controversy and speculation due to its numerous delays, as well as Disney's apparent reluctance to release it on Disney+. Now though, the movie's status has finally been confirmed. Black Widow will hit theaters and Disney+ Premier Access simultaneously on July 9, 2021. One of the highlights of 2020's DC Fandom was the roll call for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which officially introduced the ensemble cast of the soft reboot. A number of actors, including Margot Robbie and Viola Davis, reprised their role from 2016's Suicide Squad and will be joined by a host of new recruits to boot. Gunn is clearly pretty excited about his anti-hero team-up flick, promising that it'll be different to anything else he's ever made. The featurette also revealed that plenty of big action set pieces are in store, with producer Peter Safran describing the Suicide Squad as kind of like a classic war movie.
This is a gritty 1970s war movie combined with the brilliance of James Gunn's characters and comedy.
A handful of other trailers were released in early 2021, and they only seem to further prove what the original featurette suggested, that this is going to be one crazy movie. The Suicide Squad will be released in theaters and on HBO Max on August 6, 2021. Above all else, Marvel's self-professed goal for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is to offer their own perspective on Asian identity. The studio has hired Asian and Asian American filmmakers to make sure that happens, and judging by the character's history, that's a pretty smart move. The Hands of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu comics began as an unofficial continuation of Bruce Lee's legacy. And while Marvel's intentions may have been noble, the execution wasn't always perfect. Making controversial pulp villain Fu Manchu Shang-Chi's father was undoubtedly a bad move, for example, and one that's quite rightly been retconned. The job of bringing Shang-Chi into the modern age belongs to Chinese-American screenwriter Dave Callaham and Japanese-Hawaiian director Destin Daniel Creighton. The titular role, meanwhile, has gone to Chinese-Canadian actor Simu Liu. At Comic-Con 2019, Liu revealed, "I was cast on Tuesday, I screen tested on Sunday in New York. This is the craziest dream." The actor, who is perhaps best known for the comedy series Fresh Off the Boat, told the packed Hall H that his parents moved to North America with next to nothing. He said, "All I've ever wanted was to make them proud." Shang-Chi also features Tony Leung as the villainous Mandarin and Awkwafina as Shang-Chi's best friend Katie. The movie hits theaters on September 3, 2021. In June 2019, Amy Pascal confirmed that Venom star Tom Hardy would be reprising the role of Eddie Brock in an interview with Fandango. The producer said Tom Hardy will be back, magnificently playing that character as no one else can. Pascal made no mention of Venom director Ruben Fleischer, however. As it turned out, Fleischer would not be returning. Instead, Hardy later confirmed that actor and director Andy Serkis would be taking the reins for the Venom sequel. Serkis made his directorial debut in 2017 with heartwarming drama Breathe, and proved his blockbuster chops the following year with Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle. Venom's mid-credits scenes made it pretty clear that Sony was plotting a sequel. It follows Brock as he visits Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy in prison.
When I get out of here, and I will, there's gonna be carnage.
Just what form will that carnage take? You can probably guess, but if you want to know for sure, you'll need to see Venom: Let There Be Carnage. The movie arrives in theaters on September 24, 2021. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, Marvel's Eternals has been bumped to the end of 2021. Luckily, fans have already been given a few hints and teasers about the barrier-breaking cosmic blockbuster. The film will apparently take place over a period of 7,000 years, according to Kevin Feige, and will follow the exploits of the eponymous immortals known as the Eternals. The impressive ensemble cast includes Angelina Jolie as Thena, Richard Madden as Icarus, and Kit Harington as the Black Knight, Dane Whitman. Meanwhile, Gemma Chan will appear as the human-loving Cersei, Kumail Nanjiani is playing Kingo, Lauren Ridloff is Makari, Brian Tyree Henry is Phastos, Leah McHugh is Sprite, Don Lee is Gilgamesh, Barry Keoghan is Druig, and Selma Hayek is Ajak, leader of the group. Sounds like a lot. That's comic books for you. MCU overlord Kevin Feige has also confirmed that Eternals will feature the MCU's first openly gay characters. Actor Haas Slayman later told Entertainment Weekly, "I'm married to the gay superhero Phastos, played by Atlanta's Brian Tyree Henry, and we represent a gay family and have a child." Marvel's first deaf superhero, Makari, will also debut, making this the most representative MCU movie to date. According to a leaked tie-in toy, the villain of the picture will be Crow, a powerful member of the hideous species known as the Deviants. Nomadland director and Oscar frontrunner Chloe Zhao directs from a script by Matthew and Ryan Firpo. Eternals will be released on November 5, 2021. Over the last few months, news on the upcoming Spider-Man has continued to trickle through. Some of the most tantalizing tidbits about the movie titled Spider-Man: No Way Home include the fact that Jamie Foxx and Alfred Molina are both returning to Marvel as Electro and Dr. Octopus respectively. In October 2020, The Hollywood Reporter's sources revealed that Foxx's character from the Andrew Garfield movies was set for a shock return in October 2020. And a few months later, they revealed that Molina, who went toe-to-toe with Tobey Maguire's Spidey, is also going to feature in the movie.
Where do all these guys come from?
Fox himself later hinted at Garfield and Maguire reprising their roles in a hastily deleted Instagram post. And there's been talk of Emma Stone and Kirsten Dunst coming back too. 3 generations of Spider-Man movies could allegedly collide in this highly anticipated threequel. But how is this actually possible? Well, Sony has been embracing the idea of a shared multiverse with its animated Spider-Verse franchise, and we know the concept will play a big part in upcoming MCU projects, most notably culminating with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Fittingly, Benedict Cumberbatch's Stephen Strange will reportedly play a supporting role in Holland's 3rd solo film, taking over as Peter Parker's mentor. The movie swings into theaters on December 17, 2021. Sony dropped the first trailer for Morbius in January 2020, and it was met with a mixture of confusion and excitement. The 3-minute clip was essentially a mini origin story for lesser-known Marvel anti-hero Dr. Michael Morbius, a brilliant scientist who turns to vampirism after his attempt to cure his rare blood disease have mixed results. Morbius debuted as an enemy of Peter Parker in 1971's Amazing Spider-Man number 101, but became more of a sympathetic figure in later issues. While this movie is very much part of Sony's own universe of Marvel characters, the Morbius teaser contained a few Easter eggs that raised questions about the film's relationship to the MCU. For example, the word murderer has been graffitied across an image of Spidey in one scene, indicating that this is Tom Holland's version of the character, who was framed by Mysterio in Spider-Man: Far From Home. If that wasn't enough, Michael Keaton shows up as Adrian Toomes, confirming that Morbius is tied to the MCU in some way or another. As such, some fans are predicting that Morbius might sow the seeds for a big-screen Sinister Six, but just what form that movie might take in Sony's universe has yet to be seen. Morbius will be released on January 21st, 2022. The first trailer for Robert Pattinson's upcoming Batman movie dropped during DC Fandom, revealing plot details, first looks at villains, and the darkest big-screen version of the Caped Crusader yet. Pattinson's stripped-down Batsuit is on full display in the trailer, including a particularly shocking scene in which he straight up lays into an unfortunate gang member.
I'm vengeance.
What's immediately clear from the footage is that the Batman will be unlike any Bat film that's come before it, and not just in terms of grit and violence, since writer-director Matt Reeves is going back to the Dark Knight's early days. During the Fandom panel, Reeves revealed that Pattinson's Bruce Wayne is in year 2 of his Batman career, referencing the famous late 80s arc of the same name. The first trailer also offered up a glimpse of Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman and Colin Farrell's Penguin, but it's also clear that Paul Dano's Riddler will be the movie's main threat. Having been delayed a number of times due to the coronavirus pandemic, the Batman will now arrive in theaters on March 4th, 2022. When Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was announced at Comic-Con 2019, returning director Scott Derrickson claimed it would be the first properly scary MCU film. Kevin Feige, however, was quick to downplay the idea. Then, during an appearance at the New York Film Academy, Marvel's president said that he wouldn't necessarily call it a horror in the traditional sense. Derrickson exited the project over creative differences a few weeks later. Marvel wasted no time in finding a replacement, and their apparent choice has gone down pretty well with fans. Veteran horror director Sam Raimi began talking to the studio about the project in February 2020 and was soon brought on to the project properly. Derrickson, for his part, called Raimi's hiring a great choice on Marvel's part. Raimi, whose Spider-Man movies laid the foundation for the modern superhero film, remains a fan-favorite director in the comic book world, and will likely bring some prestige to Benedict Cumberbatch's second solo outing as Stephen Strange. They'll be working from a script by Michael Waldron, the head writer of upcoming Disney Plus series Loki. A couple of new MCU characters will make their debuts in the movie, with some sources suggesting that the story will introduce the iconic Marvel characters Clea and Brother Voodoo. But you can expect plenty of familiar faces to appear too. Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch is going to feature prominently in the movie, while Chiwetel Ejiofor, Benedict Wong, and Rachel McAdams are also expected to return. The madness begins on March 25th, 2022. News that Chris Hemsworth and Taika Waititi were teaming up for another Thor movie broke days before Comic-Con 2019, but the biggest announcement came at the event itself, that Natalie Portman is returning to the franchise. The Oscar winner portrayed Thor's Earthbound love interest Jane Foster in 2011's Thor and 2013's Thor: The Dark World, but was absent for 2017's Thor: Ragnarok, with an explanation briefly given that the pair had broken up.
She didn't dump me, you know. I dumped her. It's a mutual dumping.
After that, Portman appeared to be done with Marvel, but her character in the Marvel comics has developed significantly since her last film appearance. Most notably, in a 2014 story, Foster was deemed worthy to wield Thor's hammer and adopted the title Goddess of Thunder. We don't know how this will all play out on screen, but Waititi clearly has big plans for both Portman and Jane Foster. Aside from that, the director has been tight-lipped on plot details, but he at least dropped a few tantalizing teasers during an April 2020 watch party for Thor: Ragnarok. Waititi revealed that he intends to introduce Star Sharks to the MCU, for example, and also left the door open for a possible Loki return.
Surprise!
It's also been confirmed that the movie's main villain, Gore the God Butcher, will be played by MCU debutante Christian Bale. Meanwhile, Tessa Thompson will be back in action as Valkyrie, and the Guardians of the Galaxy are also set to make an appearance. Perhaps strangest of all, however, is the news that the Asgardian actors from Ragnarok are also returning for the movie. This time around, Luke Hemsworth, Matt Damon, and Sam Neill are joined by Melissa McCarthy, who is playing the stage version of Hela. Want to know what that's all about? Find out when Love and Thunder is released on May 6, 2022. The planned sequel to the smash hit Black Panther suffered a massive blow in August 2020 with the heartbreaking and untimely loss of Chadwick Boseman. The actor was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2016, the year he made the first of his 4 appearances as the African superhero. For a number of reasons, Boseman chose to keep his diagnosis private, even from Marvel and filmmaker Ryan Coogler. Coogler later said, "I spent the last year preparing, imagining, and writing words for him to say that we weren't destined to see. It leaves me broken knowing that I won't be able to watch another close-up of him in the monitor again or walk up to him and ask for another take." Boseman's death was reportedly devastating for everyone at Disney, but conversations about where the franchise should go have now begun behind the scenes. Marvel has made it clear they have no intention of recasting the role, so that means the Black Panther mantle is likely to be handed over to a new character earlier than expected, something there's actually a well-known precedent for. In the comics, T'Challa's younger half-sister Shuri has her Black Panther training fast-tracked after he is severely injured by villains loyal to Namor, who, as it happens, has been rumored to appear as the sequel's big bad. But whether it's Shuri, another of T'Challa's allies, or a brand new character altogether, whoever takes on the mantle of Black Panther will have some very big shoes to fill. We'll see how they do on July 8th, 2022. Dwayne Johnson has been touting a Black Adam movie for well over a decade. He became officially attached to play the character in 2014 and was originally supposed to debut as Adam in Shazam, but in 2017, execs decided the character was too big for a supporting role and needed his own solo movie instead. News has been painfully slow since then, but things picked up a little during DC's Fandom event in summer 2020. There wasn't any actual footage to show, but Johnson nevertheless debuted a brief teaser made up of stills created by DC's Jim Lee and Instagram artist Boss Logic. Johnson narrates the teaser in character, explaining that he was in prison some 5,000 years earlier when his home, the fictional nation of Kahndaq, was a melting pot of magic and powers. In the comics, Adam is a vengeful slave who's granted the gifts of the wizard Shazam and uses them for good, before eventually being led astray. Johnson confirmed that the Justice Society of America will feature in the film, and we now know who's playing them. Aldous Hodge is Hawkman, Noah Centineo is Atom Smasher, Quintessa Swindell is Cyclone, and, rounding out the main cast with his superhero movie debut, Pierce Brosnan is Dr. Fate. Rising star Bodhi Sabangi will also reportedly be showing up as a key yet secret character. Jaume Coet-Sarah, who directed Johnson in Disney's Jungle Cruise, is working from a script by Adam Stichiel, who wrote the former wrestler's 2018 actioner Rampage. Filming on Black Adam began in April 2021, with the movie itself set for a July 29, 2022 release date. The sequel to 2018 Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was already in the works by the time the original movie hit theaters. Given how long the first movie took to complete, however, that's not at all surprising. Into the Spider-Verse was 4 years in the making, which made fans all the more worried about potential delays to the project when the coronavirus pandemic struck. Thankfully, the movie's schedule doesn't seem to have been affected, and lead animator Nick Kondo confirmed that production had officially begun in a June 2020 tweet. The second of the original movie's post-credit scenes gave fans a major clue about where the story could be headed, introducing viewers to Miguel O'Hara, aka Spider-Man 2099. This future version of Spidey, voiced by Oscar Isaac, is given a watch that allows him to travel between dimensions.
This could literally not get any weirder.
Reportedly, the sequel is also set to feature Japanese Spider-Man, while Spider-Man the Animated Series star Christopher Daniel Barnes has revealed that he would love to play his version of Spider-Man in the movie. He told Recording Time Media, "If I could do that again, I'd be honored." Into the Spider-Verse 2 is due for release on October 7, 2022. Ezra Miller's long-awaited solo outing as Barry Allen was thrown into peril in 2020 when a clip of him appearing to choke a female fan went viral. Nonetheless, Warner Bros. Decided to stick by the actor, and right now, The Flash remains very much in the pipeline. The project was actually given the name Flashpoint back in 2017, which is also the name of an epic DC event, one which saw the Flash turn the whole universe on its head by traveling backwards in time to save his mother. We don't know how closely director Andy Muschietti and writer Christina Hodson's film will follow the well-known and beloved art, but we do at least know who's going to be in it. Barry Allen's mom will be played by Maribel Verdú, while Ron Livingston will portray his dad, having taken over the role from a double-booked Billy Crudup. According to Variety, Saoirse Monica Jackson and YouTube star Rudy Mancuso will also feature. In bigger news, it's been confirmed that Sasha Calle has been cast as Supergirl and will be making her debut alongside the Scarlet Speedster. Plus, Ben Affleck will be returning as Batman, with Muschietti telling Vanity Fair that Affleck is a very substantial part of the emotional impact of the movie. Muschietti has also said that Michael Keaton's 1989 Batman would appear in the film, playing a substantial part in Barry Allen's tale. However, in March 2021, Keaton himself told Deadline that he was unsure whether or not he would take up the cowl again. As he explained, "I am needing a minute to think about it because I'm so fortunate and blessed. I got so much going on now. I'm really into work right now." With Keaton or without him, The Flash is scheduled for release on November 4th, 2022. Kevin Feige gave away nothing about Captain Marvel 2 when he revealed his MCU Phase 4 plans back in 2019, but we know now a whole lot more about the upcoming sequel. Brie Larson will reprise the role of Carol Danvers, and she will be facing off against Velvet Buzzsaw actor Zawe Ashton, who, according to Deadline, has been cast as a thus far unidentified villain. The same outlet has revealed that Tiana Paris's Monica Rambeau will feature, reprising her WandaVision role, as will Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan, focus of the upcoming Disney Plus series Ms. Marvel. The coronavirus pandemic inevitably slowed the movie down a little, but production on Captain Marvel 2 reportedly began in earnest in early January 2021. That same month, Larson spoke to Lily Singh about the hiring of director Nia DaCosta, who is set to become the first Black woman to direct an MCU movie. She said, "It's amazing, and I'm so excited that it's announced and I can talk about it. Nia is amazing, and she got the job because she is the best person for the job. She just gave an incredible presentation, and I'm inspired by her." Captain Marvel 2 will be released on November 11, 2022. A sequel to 2018's Aquaman seemed inevitable from the moment James Wan underwater epic dethroned The Dark Knight Rises as the highest-grossing DC movie ever. In January 2019, Deadline revealed that Warner Bros. Wanted Wan to oversee development of Aquaman 2 and had given the director permission to select his own writer. A few weeks later, The Hollywood Reporter confirmed that David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, who co-wrote the original movie, has been hired for the sequel. And while Aquaman 2 will be very much their brainchild, it seems that Jason Momoa has been chipping in with some ideas too. In October 2019, he told Entertainment Tonight, "I went into Warner Brothers in DC and said, I have some ideas." They loved them, and James Wan and everyone is like, "We're all taking it in. We're excited to do another one." The actor wouldn't get into specifics, but he promised that Aquaman 2 was going to be way bigger than the first installment, saying, "There's a lot more in store on so many more levels. There's going to be a lot." All we know for sure about the plot of the sequel is that the titular hero will face off against classic nemesis Black Panther, who was rescued by an obsessive scientist in the first movie's mid-credits scene. Aquaman 2 hits theaters on December 16, 2022. Released in 2019, Shazam was a major win for Warner Bros., with the vast majority of critics praising the film's departure from the somber tone that had come to define DC movies. There's nothing official on the upcoming sequel in terms of plot yet, but we do know that director David F. Sandberg and screenwriter Henry Gayden are both back, and all the principal cast members are expected to return too. But who will the Shazam-ally be up against this time out? Well, one of the Shazam post-credit tags introduced a talking caterpillar-like creature that fans of the comics will surely have recognized as Mr. Mind, a traditional adversary of Billy Batson.
Oh, what fun we're going to have together. The 7 realms are about to be ours.
It's also been confirmed that Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu will play villains by the name of Hespera and Calypso, respectively. They're both sisters, original characters, and daughters of the god Atlas, whose most popular run in the comics came under Jack Kirby's stewardship in the mid-70s. Shazam! Fury of the Gods will be released on June 2nd, 2023. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies and TV shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.